like I did the Kid Stretch and FRC certification. I don't know, maybe was it 4 or 5 years? Like in the workshop, I wasn't sure either, which it's scary. But anyway, I mean, I've done a challenge every single month for the last like 7 years of my career, literally almost without fail. And like, this is the first time that I've done like a diaphragm specific challenge. I've done meditation, like breathing stuff before. So, I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but my goal is to bring that more into common practice. And so I think it's important that more people are talking about, you know, the internal muscles and that are responsible for breathing, and how it can really, you know, spending 1 minute, 3 minutes, 8 minutes can really, really like super benefit hugely in terms of, you know, neck pain, midsection, firing, etc. So let's kind of shift into that a bit and talk about, like, from your perspective, if you have someone that's coming in, they've got a lot of pain and you're looking at like a super flared rib cage and maybe they're stuck in lumbar extension, you can see that like the breath is not, they're not getting full breaths and the capacity is low. You go through a couple breathing exercises with them and show them, okay, this is how you access these tissues. When they're leaving you, what are you telling them in terms of like, okay, I'm going to give you these 3 exercises to do for the next 2 weeks, and you're going to come back and see me. What are you telling them in terms of the motivation behind and the reason why it's really important that they do that work?
Well, pain is a funny motivator, isn't it? So more
Sure.
often than not, I can utilize that as my tool for motivation. So if I say to someone, yeah, your neck is really, you know, for lack of a better word, layman's terms, jacked up, it's excessive working, you're putting all of your effort into your neck when that's not the next responsibility. You got to sort of reassign roles and responsibilities, change that wiring for how you're making things happen. All the parts are there. It's just what's the sequence of optimization to make it all work. So, you know, reminding people that performing specific exercises, even in the clinic with me, has already shown specific results. And so just imagine what that does when it can be compounded and grown upon. I do find that more often than not, the first bit for somebody is general awareness. Because if I come in and someone says, you know, I keep getting these ribs that pop out, or my shoulder blades are really sore or tired all the time, and I'm like, okay, posture this, posture that, utilization from here and not from down here, the first little bit is like, they had no idea. And so if they stop and I either try to cue in with activities that occur in their day, like every time they send an email, or every time their phone buzzes, or whatever it may be, if I can tie in a regular and recurrent event as a cue for them to take note, then all of a sudden their ability to their landscape really opens up, and they can really start to see, oh shoot, I've been doing this wrong for so long. And so if I can get them to prove to themselves that they're contributing to their own primary concern, and then at the same time give them a couple of tools to take home to be like, and then you're going to support yourself in these ways, that's sort of the winning combination.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's really cool, because from my perspective, like right away you're thinking like, okay, what's the motivator going to be as I send this person away and like wish them well, and I'm, you know, not with them for 2 weeks, but I'm, you know, have such high hopes that they're going to do this work, because I'm just like so passionate about like them getting better and not being in pain. It's like so exciting, right? So for me, when they're coming and they're not in pain, like what's the motivation if there's no pain to get rid of? Right. So that's when I start getting into the really interesting coaching piece of like, what is the potential and the capacity that you have? And are you interested in being better just cause? Right. Like that's the shit that fires me up, right? Like you're super fired up about let's take this pain away. And I'm like, okay, great. You don't have pain anymore, but like, can we keep doing the work? Or maybe you weren't in pain to begin with. So how am I going to inspire and motivate you to like want to do this just because you'll be better and your life will be better? Like I have 1,700 different reasons why your life will be better if you do this accessory work, right? So I just think it's a really interesting conversation to kind of open up is, you know, are you interested in achieving a greater potential for fun, right?